Hi, I'm Kent. Recently, I've been making some more plaster molds for my slip casting. In this video, I'm going to put them to use. I have the mold I made using my 3D printed part that I've only used once or twice, and then I have my new molds for when I tried to cast all four, but only two worked. I'm going to put those to use as well. So let's do some slip casting. Here are my two newest molds. They are all fully cured now and ready to use. And here's the mold I made using my 3D printing process. So I'm going to go ahead and slip cast some pots. So off camera, I went ahead and mixed up my slip so it's thoroughly mixed up. However, I usually have some chunks of clay that have settled out, and so I want to run it through a strainer before I pour it into the mold. So we'll go ahead and do that. These are new molds, so I don't know exactly how much slip they'll take. And it seems this one's not quite level, so let's spin it around. So these molds here, I didn't put a shoulder on them to catch the slip, so I just want to fill it to the top. Maybe just a little overfull. That's pretty good. So next one. Up to the top. All right, so I've used most of my container slip, so I'm sure we're not going to have enough. All right, so pour some more in from my big bucket here. This is a 5-gallon bucket I keep my slip in. So this is why I run it through the strainer. There's little bits of clay here that haven't fully turned into slip and a couple of larger chunks that I should have mixed up better. We're up onto the shelf, so I think we have enough slip in this one. All right, so there are these three. The molds are all full, and I am just about out of this slip. I have another set of slip off to the side that's from some reclaimed clay. I think I'm going to mix that up and cast a few more pots. All right, and here are my three older molds. And off camera, I just mixed up my slip from reclaimed clay. The slip is definitely on the thicker side. I think I need to put some more water into it. All right, and that's the other reason we strained the clay, is that there's some chunkies that this has picked up in the reclaiming process. So I'm going to wash this out so I don't contaminate the rest of the clay. And I am out of slip, so we'll do those next. I'm out of slip, so I can't fill these up right now. All right, these have all been sitting for a while. So I think I'm going to take the slip out of these and pour them directly into this molds. I have these tubs. I'm going to set the plaster mold on top of that so I have a place to catch the slip as it drains out. This one's almost full, but not quite, so I'm going to take a little bit more from this mold here. Oh, heavy. So now I have slip in these two molds. I need to dump out this one. Again, since this is my reclaimed slip, I'm going to keep it separate and pour it back into the reclaimed slip bucket. That slip is a little too thick. All right, so this one here looks like a fail. The slip is way too thick, so I'm gonna let it dry a little bit more, and then I'll just reclaim this clay. This one here is looking pretty good. as is this one, although I think I messed up the corner a little bit. So while it's real wet, see if I can smooth that out a little bit. Here is my last mold that I made with my 3D printed part. This one also looks pretty good. So let these three sit long enough so that they firm up. Clean up the tops and then pop them out. These two here, I'll let them sit a bit longer, pour out the excess slip, and then do the same. Now this one, I think I'm just going to clean out off camera. All right, I got this one cleaned up. That was a pretty spectacular failure. So I scooped out the slip, or sludge, more like it, back into the bucket, and then took a sponge and wiped this out. This one's a little bit wet, so I might need to let it dry longer. And here is the slip. You can tell that it's actually pretty chunky. Now some of the moisture was absorbed into the mold, but it was not the right consistency to start with. So a big lesson here was I didn't have enough slip to start with to fill up all my molds, and I hadn't prepared the slip quite enough. So I should have checked it a little bit more ahead of time. But it is just clay, so I can put it back in, get the water content right, mix it all back up, and it will be good to go for later. So just one less pot for right now, no big deal. All right, all of these have been sitting for a while. Let's see about trimming the tops and then pulling them out. Okay, all the tops have been trimmed. I'm going to let them sit and dry a little bit longer so that hopefully they will release better from the molds and will come out. Okay, these have all been sitting for a while longer. I think they're ready to come out. All right, here they all are. So this one here are my new molds. This is one of my older molds. It's starting to deteriorate. It's got a little bit of bubbles. Likewise for this one. And here is the pot for my new 3D printed mold. It has a hard time releasing, so there's actually some deformation in the walls, but I think it's okay. So we'll let those sit and firm up. So that's 5 more pots. I tried for 6. It didn't quite work out. That's okay. I was able to reuse the slip, and we'll use it again another day. I hope you liked this video. If you have any questions or any comments, please leave it below. Thanks.